For Unit 3, Day 3 notes, this is basically the converse of everything that we did on Day 2. So in Day 2, we talked about, if these lines were parallel, then these angles were formed. Now I'm talking about if these angles are formed, we know that the lines are parallel. So we're going backwards in our thinking. For example 1, identifying parallel lines, it says which lines are parallel if angle 1 and angle 2 are congruent. So if I look at angle 1 and angle 2, I see that they are in corresponding positions. Okay? This means that line M has to be the transversal. So A and B have to be my two lines that are parallel to one another. So I'm going to put the angle 1 and angle 2 are corresponding angles. And that we could say that line A and line B are parallel. So I'm going to use that two little sticks like that for the parallel symbol by the converse of the corresponding angles theorem. So that is up here. You could read that. Basically, it was just saying that if I give you corresponding angles, you can tell that two lines are parallel. Okay. Now these three, I would read through these, and you could hit pause and do that. But again, same thing. If I tell you that these two angles are congruent by alternate interior angles, then you know that these two lines L and M are parallel. And that is a cursive L on all of them. It does look like a C, but it is a cursive L. Okay? So on this one, I'm talking about a flow proof, which is a little bit different than what we've done. Normally we do a two-column proof like this. So a flow proof is a proof in which arrows show the logical connection between the statements reasons are written below the statements. So in this particular flow proof, I went ahead and gave you all the statements, okay? And then our job is to figure out what are all the reasons. So for the first one, angle 1 is congruent to angle 7. Well, that was given to you. So that's pretty much like that first step in a two-column proof. Okay, so angle 1 and angle 7 are congruent, given. Then it says that angle 3 and angle 1 are also congruent. So think about what relationship do we know between the two angles? We know that angle 1 and angle 3 are vertical. So we're going to put that these are vertical angles, which makes them congruent. Okay? Now, if you look at these two statements, we see that we have a 1 repeated, which then means that angle 3 and angle 7 are congruent by the transitive property. And we discussed transitive in Unit 2. Now, if we know that angle 3 and angle 7 are congruent, these are corresponding, okay? And we can say that if they're congruent, then line L and line M are parallel. So if corresponding angles are congruent, then the lines are parallel. In reality, this statement that we just wrote, it's the converse of the corresponding angles theorem. You could actually just write that as the reason, converse of the corresponding angles theorem. And that would be sufficient, as well as this sentence. Either one would work. Okay? So we're not going to do this proof. Let's mark it out for now. And I will do a new video for this page of the notes.